Okay. So that's how we got number 2. Okay. Do you have any questions at all? Anyone? Again, you just want to make sure you multiply so that the unit gallon cancels. For part 3, we want to know how many gallons are needed to drive 30 miles. Here you have to be a little bit careful. I mean, we have 15 miles per gallon, right? But if you just multiply that by 30 miles, well, there's no unit cancellation, right? We have a problem then. Namely, if we took the 15 miles per gallon, right? Again, I put a 1 here, but if you don't put a 1 here, it's understood to be 1. But if we were to multiply this by 30 miles, if we just multiply like we did on the previous screen, well, notice the units are not going to cancel. In fact, you'll have 450 on top, because that's what 15 times 30 is. But you'll have miles squared per gallon. So again, if we were to just multiply, okay, what would happen is we would get 15 times 30, which is 450 square miles per gallon, because we're multiplying miles together. But does that make sense? I mean, I don't know how to interpret that, right? That doesn't make sense here. I mean, what does that even mean? But what we can do is this instead. This 15 miles per gallon, right? This is a rate. If we were to invert it or flip it, so to say, we would get 1 gallon per 15 miles. So it's another way of looking at this rate, right? We're just flipping it basically. We still have a rate. It's not a unit rate anymore, but it's still a rate. Okay, so now we can multiply this by 30 miles because now the unit miles are going to cancel. It's almost like saying on 1 gallon we can go 15 miles. Well, how many gallons do we need then to go 30 miles? You just multiply. And you can see the units are going to cancel. You're only left with gallons. And in fact, you're going to get 30 over 15 gallons, which is 2 gallons. So again, it's really just multiplying, and you want to make sure the right unit cancels. What I'm trying to show you here is if you're not careful, you're not going to have cancellation in the unit, and you're going to get something that doesn't make sense. I mean, essentially for number 3, we want to know how many gallons. But here, miles squared per gallon is what we get. That doesn't make sense. So that's why we had to flip this. Okay, just do this. I know that wasn't easy, I understand, but let me do something. I mean, we will see another way to solve that, maybe not today, but this week, involving proportions. Some people like that better, some people don't. So it's really just multiplying. Let's do I think we should do another example. So, okay. Yeah, we better do it. Yeah, well, we have another example anyway, so all right, let's do that. Okay, here's another one now. So let's suppose now we can walk at a rate of 1.5 miles per hour. You know, we're able to walk at that speed, right? We can walk at 1.5 miles per hour, right? So if we walk for an hour, we would have gone 1.5, 1.5 miles. So the first question here is, how far can I walk if I'm going to walk for 4 hours nonstop. So if I can walk for 4 hours nonstop, okay? Well, again, we're going to use a rate, right? Namely, okay? Namely, what I'm going to do is I'm going to express this as a rate, right? So we get this here as a fraction. 1.5 miles per hour. Okay. But so we're walking at that speed, right? So how far could we walk if we walk for 4 hours? Well, again, what do? We're just going to multiply. Right? We're walking at the speed for 4 hours. We're going to multiply by 4. And then what happens? We cancel. The units cancel. Okay, so the units cancel. We're left with 1.5 times 4, which turns out to be 6 miles. Okay, so again, it's just multiplying, but again, you want to make sure your answer is in miles, right? We want to know how far. So the unit of hours we had to cancel. Okay. That's for number 1. Are there any questions about this? Now, if you're confused, please say so. Yeah?
What happens to like the 1 hour mark? Like you said, like it's 1.5 miles per hour. How
Mm-hmm.
much, like how far can we walk in 4 hours equals
Yeah.
1.5 times 4? Where'd the one
Well,
hour
the
go?
unit of hour, sorry. The unit hours, that's going to cancel. So we're left with miles.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if that helps or not.
Yeah, I just didn't know like why we weren't talking about the hour, so it's just okay, the unit change. Okay.
That's all. It's kind of like when you're driving in your car, right? If you're driving like before, 25 miles per hour, right? Okay, so for 4 hours, how far are you going to drive? 25 times 4. So it's the same idea. Hope that helps. For number 2, I hope that helps. I mean, we will see, I think, yeah, the impression is not a lot of people are getting this. I mean, we'll see another way to solve this using proportions. So we'll see like how, I mean, that might be, I hope that's a little bit easier. So here, how long would it take to walk 9 miles? Well, again, here what I'm trying to show you is you can't just multiply by this rate here. If you were to take this and multiply by 9 miles, okay, that's not going to make sense. You're going to get square miles per hour. So yeah, we're going to have to multiply by a rate, but this is not the rate we have to multiply by. And again, this does not make sense. But instead, we can do this. If we were to take the original rate and flip it, we have this one, right? So then we multiply by 9 miles. Okay. So again, what's going to happen here is we're going to think of the rate as 1 hour per 1.5 miles. Okay? And then we're going to multiply that by 9 miles. And by doing so, the unit miles cancel, right? Because we're looking for how long, unit of time. And we have 9 over 1.5 hours, which is 6 hours. That's what's going to happen here.
So the 6, you got that by dividing 9 point
Mhm.
by 1.5, right?
Right, 9 over 1.5, yeah. Yeah, I feel like they're not getting this. Are there any other questions? All right, you know what? Okay.